Today, I'm going to be showing you how to build my 9,000 per hour dispenser crafter. These are the materials required to build the farm. The blocks and slabs can be any blocks of your choosing, and the obsidian can be any immovable block. If you don't want to use decorated pots, then add 3 hoppers to your list. If you decide you don't want to use decorated pots, simply replace any of them with a hopper facing down. If you're building this farm facing south, you will need 1 extra redstone repeater and 1 less redstone dust. The moss block can be any item that can be composted. These are the items you need to place inside the farm before you start it. Let's get into the tutorial. The farm itself will fit in a 8 by 9 by 7. First, go to the back of your build, place a block, a sticky piston, 2 slime blocks, a redstone block, skip a block, place a sticky piston, skip another block, sticky piston, and block. Make sure to come over here to these slime blocks and break the blocks underneath the 2 of them and the one under the redstone block. Come to this front corner, place a temporary block, a dropper facing up, a comparator facing out of it, an observer facing this way. Break this temporary block. Next, run a hopper line like so. Come around at the back, place a solid block here, an immovable block here, a solid block here, a piece of redstone on top of this block, a temporary block here, a solid block here, and break that temporary block. Next, place a normal piston, a solid block, a sticky piston, and another solid block. Then place a dropper facing this way, a dropper facing this way, and then a dropper facing up. Next, place a temporary block here, 3 blocks, a block off to the side, and a block off to the side. Break this temporary block. Next, come back to the front, place 3 blocks here, and 3 more blocks here. Come to the front, place an observer facing this way, a dropper on top of this other dropper. Next, place 3 redstone dust like so, a repeater coming off of this front redstone dust on 2 ticks, and a repeater coming off this back redstone dust on 2 ticks. Next, place redstone dust in an L shape like so. Next, place a piece of redstone dust here, and a piece of redstone dust here, and make sure to right click this piece of redstone. Next, go to this dropper facing up, place a crafter facing to the right. Next, place a temporary block here, a dropper facing into the crafter. Break this temporary block, and replace it with a hopper. Next, come around to the movable block, place a block here, 2 powered rails here, a hopper minecart on this powered rail. Nudge it a little bit so it is about halfway inside of this dropper, and then break this rail. Break these blocks. Next, place a slab here, a repeater here, a solid block here. Next, come around to this block, place a dropper facing into the crafter. Place 2 temporary blocks here, and place 3 droppers facing into the crafter. Break these temporary blocks. Next, place a hopper facing into this dropper, and a hopper facing into that dropper. Come around to the front and place 4 redstone like so. Next, place a temporary block here and a block on top of it. Break the temporary block. Place a comparator here, set it on subtract mode, and put a block on the back of it. Place 2 temporary blocks, sticky piston on top of it, facing this way, and a solid block in front of it. Break the temporary blocks. Come over here, place 2 droppers facing into the crafter from here. Go back to the front, and place a hopper facing into this dropper. Quick note, if you're facing south when building this farm, you must replace this redstone dust here with a repeater, and then come around to the back and change this one to 2 ticks. Next, you'll want to go in the crafter and set the recipe. Place 2 cobblestone in each slot like so, 2 redstone dust at the bottom, and a bow inside. Next, go to this dropper here, fill it with bows, and fill up this hopper with bows as well. Come back to the front, place a dropper here facing up, and 2 observers coming out of it. Next, place 2 blocks here, a slab here, and then blocks in a formation like so. Next, place a slab here, and a block here. Next, come to the top of the crafter, place 2 temporary blocks like so, break this one, place a dropper facing down, and break this temporary block. Place a barrel on top of this hopper. Place a hopper on top of this dropper, and a pot on top of this hopper. Next, place 2 hoppers here, 1 on top of this hopper, 1 on top of this dropper. Come around to the back, and place 2 blocks here. Next, place a target block here, and a solid block off of it. Place a hopper facing into this top dropper, a hopper facing into this one, a hopper facing into that hopper, a pot on top of this hopper, and a hopper facing into that pot. Next, place a piece of redstone dust on top of this block, a note block coming off of it, an observer coming off of that note block into a block. Next, place a sticky piston coming off of that note block with an observer facing down. Go around to the back, place 2 temporary blocks like so, a sticky piston facing this way, and a redstone block off of that sticky piston. Break these 2 temporary blocks. Be sure to place these two pieces of redstone dust. One here, and one here. Next, come back to the front, place a dropper facing up, and an observer facing up here. Place a piece of redstone on top of this note block, and 3 solid blocks here. Next, place a comparator here on subtract mode, and redstone dust all along here. Next, place 2 temporary blocks on top of this barrel. Come down here, break this bottom one, place a crafter facing down. Break this temporary block. Next, place a temporary block here. Place 4 droppers like so. Break this temporary block. Place a hopper here facing into that dropper, a target block here, a hopper facing into that dropper, and a target block here. Be sure to edit the crafter like so. Disable this slot, and this slot. Place string here, and sticks here. Next, place blocks like so. Place a temporary block here, 2 blocks here, break the temporary block. Next, place 2 redstone torches here, and 2 comparators facing into those blocks. Place a double chest here, a hopper facing down into that pot, a pot on top of that hopper, and 2 hoppers facing down here. Next, place a comparator off of that hopper, a piston in front of it facing this way, a composter, and give it any fill level. Next, place a double chest here, with 2 hoppers facing into it. Next, come back to the front, place your dropper facing up, an observer facing off of that observer, and 1 observer coming off of that observer into the dropper. Next, place a hopper on top of each of these droppers, and 1 on top of the corner hoppers. Then place a solid block here, and a slab here. Next, place blocks like so. Place a temporary block here, another block here, and break that temporary block. Place 2 blocks on top of these torches, and redstone dust along this. Place a double chest here, and here. Next, place hoppers like so. Then come to this double chest here, place a slab, and a redstone block. Place 3 redstone dust like so. Come to the front, place a double chest here. Place a copper bulb here above this redstone dust, with a button on top of it, a comparator come off the side. Place 2 temporary blocks above this redstone block. Break this middle one, place a sticky piston facing down. Break this temporary block. Next, we're going to place in the input chest like so. Next, take a comparator output off of this chest, into a block, place redstone dust here, a block here. Next, place 6 comparators like so. Place a block here, a comparator here, and a block coming off the front of that. Next, place a line of blocks like so, and put redstone torches like this. Finally, place 2 redstone dusts here. The item frames here show what each of the chests are. You will need to wait a little bit before you start the farm in order to let all these items flow through the system. Once this redstone line here turns off, you are ready to go. When you are ready to use the farm, simply press this button. When you're ready to turn the farm off, press the button again. Thanks for watching. Bye.